house. Whoever comes in, the fire marshal doesn't come. In somewhere. So welcome. Thank you for coming to our very first events meeting of the semester. And we have this is gonna be a great meeting. We have so many awesome things we're gonna talk about today, and we're gonna do some fun things. And we're just excited to have you all here. So we're gonna start with an opening prayer by James. Started.
Our dear Father in heaven, we thank thee that we are able to meet together as members of the Ballard Center to plan and to organize and to teach each other how we can better accomplish our roles within the center. We pray that thy spirit will be present during our meeting today and that we will be able to retain the things that are shared and feel a spirit of unity as we move forward together towards a common goal. We pray that the rest of our days will be able to go well and that we as students will be able to get done that we need to, and that the professors will be blessed as well in their days. We pray for the help and strength and say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, James, and thank you for the reminder of why we meet here in all hands meetings. And for those of you who are new, this is such an important part of the Ballard Center because we have so many roles and things that are going on here. And so it's kind of, think of it as we're just a group of pirates. We're all hands on deck. We all have our duties. We all have things that we need to do to make the whole ship sail, right? So in that, pirates in mind, this is our own little chant, which we've done in the past. It is, as they do good, and you say better. All right. You're good. Yar, good, right off. Oh. I time over to our director, Ava, to get.
No, you're good. We could do that. Actually, okay, so but here's why I was like, I don't know if you saw me, I was like covering my face during the pirate theme talk. I'm just gonna, this used to be a secret and I've just decided to not make it a secret anymore. I discovered last Halloween that most of the time when I get dressed, I have one of two themes. I either look like someone from Star Trek or I look like a pirate. And I legitimately like have to make decisions in the morning when I'm getting ready about like how to accessorize so that I don't look too much like a pirate. As evidence, right? I mean, once you've seen it, you're not gonna be able to unsee it. There's more.
Yeah.
This is not intentional, but like Halloween, I went to get dressed. I got dressed in my normal clothes. Okay, my normal clothes. And I was like, wait, if I just tuck it wasn't even these pants, it was different pants. I was like, if I just tuck those into the boots that I already have on, and then like wear this vest that I own and wear like normal clothes, I will full on look like a pirate. And so I did that and it just is fine. So we are on a pirate ship. Everybody. So thrilled to have you. All right, so I'm going to start out with just a little bit of, many of you know, hopefully all of you actually, because this is how you will be paid, that BYU has switched over to Workday, right? And I tried to make it a thing that whenever we said Workday, everyone would just like cheer, and apparently that has not taken off. But this is a system that all of BYU has switched to, and BYU says that it replaced 87 different unique systems that they had been running in. There was all kinds of duplication, all kinds of stuff. So over time, this is going to be an amazing thing. It's also replacing several of our systems. So if you add to that 87 that we were already kind of in university-wide, there are additional systems at the Ballard Center that we're going to be transitioning over to that. So this is a really great time to sort of think things through. So I'm going to start with something that's a little bit logistical, but hopefully also a little bit fun. And it's going to hopefully make you even more attentive to the stuff I'm going to talk about after that, which is really the important stuff. So what I want to talk about is that we are adjusting in the Ballard Center the way that we think about our pay and our pay scales. And so the headline that I want you to walk away with is you actually have you will have a much larger potential semester raise at the end of every semester that you work with us. I'll talk about that in a second, but that's like the fun part, right? But also the way that pay scales usually work at the universities, they give us for every level of job. So we have kind of this idea of job levels here, right? So every job that you do has specific skills and tasks that are associated with it, and they're actually organized university-wide. So we just say, okay, what do we need our Ballard Center student on this team to be able to do? And then we look at the university list and we're like, which job title and level does that fit with? And then we hire into that level, right? And the way that usually works is they give us a pay range that we can choose from to do that. And then traditionally what we've done in the Ballard Center is sort of bumped up the bottom level a little bit. So we end up with a narrower pay range that starts a little higher up. That's all still true. But we also want to make sure that, like, the whole purpose behind having these levels of jobs is to make sure that there's fairness, that there's equity across teams. And we have, I mean, look around, we have a lot of students doing a lot of amazing things with us. And so we want to make sure that we're really fair. So it's going to take us about a semester to implement this. In fact, we're not going to fully implement until spring, summer. But we are going to start making some incremental adjustments, including, and this is the biggest one, that your semester raise, instead of just being a quarter after you've sort of met with your director and had your accountability conversation at the end of the semester, and then you get a 25-cent raise. Instead of that, we're adjusting that into these 3 sections. So we still value you having worked with us and staying with us over a long period of time. So we're still, if you've been showing up to work, we're still going to keep that end of semester raise. It's going to go down to 10 cents instead of 25 cents. But then we're going to have 2 additional raises that are available to you. One based on professional development. So you will set goals with your director, with your team. And then if you meet those goals at your end of semester review, instead of just randomly talking about what you did and didn't do, we want the random stuff too. But you're also going to report on your specific performance goals. And then you can have up to a 15-cent additional raise for that. So now we're up to the 25 cents, right? There's another 15-cent bump that you can get for setting professional development goals and then being accountable for those at the end of the semester. So that if you achieve both of those, you jump up to a 40-cent per semester raise if you hit all of those goals and are accountable for them at the end of the semester with your mentors. So professional development, what we mean by that is that there are certain skills that we want you to have and master. Mastery is one of the skills that we want you to be able to develop. And so we will set out sort of goals for your professional development. We will pay you for doing the professional development and then give you a raise when you've achieved it, right? Which sort of mimics how it works out there in the real world, right? It's normal for a job to pay for your professional development. And then when you achieve different levels in that, for them to give you a raise as well. So we're just reflecting that. Our hope is that by giving you opportunities and even incentivizing it for you to gain mastery in some of these things, that at the same time, we're boosting your resume so that this is a premier student experience for you on campus. That's the goal. So moving forward, again, we're not fully implementing this until spring, summer, but I wanted you to know because we are going to start pieces of this nowish, okay? So we hire in our level 1, our minimum entry base pay is $14, which is higher than the campus-wide minimum, higher than minimum wage, right? Most of you are familiar that that's a reasonably good starting point. And then we have different levels. Those are set by the university. So the job you're hired into, that's why it's called a job level. The job you're hired into will determine these additional amounts. Then, oh, this is another fun bonus, okay? Starting spring, summer, leads will get an additional bonus. We already do that. We have a raise that we give leaders, so that will stay in place. Onboarding, if you've completed your onboarding, some of you were new with us, you know this, that there's a 50-cent bump. If you finish your onboarding, that's still in place, so that'll be there. And then starting spring, summer, we'll also give a bonus for people who've completed the Do Good Better class. The reason behind that is that so much of what we do is based on the social impact cycle, that we really want students who understand the social impact cycle. So it's like an incentive for our Do Good Better students to come work for the Ballard Center, but also for those of you who already work for us, but haven't had that in-depth experience with it, we want to incentivize that as well. So once you've completed the course, not while you're enrolled and taking it, but once that course is completed, again, starting spring, summer, we'll give a bonus for that. So in total, we anticipate that this will likely sort of bump up our wage rates a little bit, especially because we're adding so much more in our end of semester raises and a couple of other bumps along the way as well. Okay, you're gonna have questions. This is not retroactive. Again, we're starting spring, summer, so this isn't even implemented yet, but changes you'll start to see are conversations with your directors around these goals. Okay, so we're hoping that by about midterm, everybody has identified and agreed with their director on a professional development goal and a performance goal. Okay, so that's our hope. And then you would be eligible if you complete those in that half a semester or whatever. We would intend to give you those raises at the end of this semester. And that's how we're starting into some of this. Stephen?
Just want to add, so the students would clock in while pursuing their professional development activity, whatever that is.
Correct, which is part of why it needs to be approved in advance, right? Because we want to make sure that we're right sizing all of that for you and doing something that's reasonable in addition to the other tasks that we have on campus. But yes, we'll pay you to complete those professional development tasks, just like we pay you for onboarding. Okay. So hopefully that's fun, good news. Again, it's kind of like to jump out, like it's 2025, it's new year, it's our first all hands of the year, it's a new semester, all these things. And I'm like, let's talk about pay, right? I have more for you. But the reason that I wanted to do this first is because we're going to talk a little bit about Ballard Center outcomes in a minute, and your performance and your professional development should be tied to that. And so what I'm hoping that this has done is made you more interested in hearing about all of this and retaining it, because it's actually related to your pay now. Isn't that fun? Because we are outcomes driven. All right. Our mission at the Ballard Center, which is hopefully written on the fleshy tablets of your heart, is we develop the faith and skills to solve social problems. I have so much to say about that. I think this mission is miraculous. I love being a part of it, and I love having all of you be a part of it. There are other elements of this as well. For example, we have a guiding principle, and this one is one that we talk about a little bit less frequently, but we want to mentor the rising generation of social impact leaders, that's you, in a global social impact community. So this is a guiding principle on which we decide about the activities that we undertake. This is why we do things like the Do Good Better conference that we're going to have later this semester, where we bring in people from all over the country, sometimes even from other places in the world. Because part of what we're trying to do is center you in that community. We're trying to equip you to be a part of that community, not just after graduation, but now. And then once you do graduate, which someday you will, and we're super excited for that for you, we hope that you are still a part of that larger community and that you're connected with us, and that you also then help mentor the rising generation. But everything that we do is based on this idea of mentored student leadership. And that means that you as student leaders are mentored either by your peer leaders and your peer mentors, or by us as directors, or by our transformative mentors that we've hired specifically to help bridge some of those conversations about what we do here and practice. So not everybody in this room or everybody in our minor or our classes is planning on a social impact career. That's okay. There are 3 different paths that we think about when we are thinking about you, the rising generation of social impact leaders. While you're here with us at BYU, we think about 3 different ways that you are in your lifetime going to contribute to solving social problems. The first one that I hope applies to everyone in this room is active citizenship and discipleship. So in the space of your life, you are going to make all kinds of decisions about how you vote, how you show up at church, how you do your ministering, the way you serve in your callings, the volunteer work that you do, the donations you make, the investments that you make. And so we want you to have a social impact lens in all of those spaces where you're making an impact on a regular basis. That has nothing to do with paid work, right? That's you showing up as an active disciple and an active citizen. The second is that each of you has a major. We don't run a major, so your major is not a Ballard Center major. I know that because we don't have one. So the second pathway is for you to add a social impact lens to whatever expertise you have. And I think one of the clearest examples of that is, and it's not the only, but it's one of the clearest examples, is the Marcoms team. So I'm going to point up here at Megan. Megan, wave to everybody. So Megan is a graphic designer. She'll be graduating in April, yes? And that is her chosen field. That's what she's majoring in. That's what she's an expert in. But she's here at the Ballard Center leveraging those skills for social impact. Think about your major and then overlay a social impact lens. That's a second way that we're trying to do that. We do that both by bringing you in, by offering a minor that people can add to their majors. We also are increasingly working on partnering with different colleges and departments on campus to provide a social impact lens to the work that they're already doing or to amplify the social impact lenses that they already have. So that's one of the other things that we do. And then the last one is a career in social impact, which we want to do a great job of equipping you for if that's your goal. All right, so in this mentorship, you'll hear us talk about an 80-20 model. You'll hear us talk about 80-20ing something. So I want you to have a sense of what that means, more detail to come, but this is the model that we use in mentoring. And that essentially is that when you are starting in a new task or a new role, our assumption as mentors is that we are actually going to be doing 80% of the work at first, because you haven't been exposed to it enough to be able to sort of just take the task and run with it. We're mentors, we're not task managers. Okay? So what we want to be doing is stretching you. And we're going to stretch you by giving you something that is more than you can do. And so we're going to start out by doing 80% of that work. And you're going to be there with us, and you're going to sort of pick up enough to be able to do the last 20%, right? That's the beginning of the model. Over time, and usually this starts to happen pretty quickly, we want to get to about a 50-50, right? Where we can talk about a task, you could do it, come back, report, we can refine it, that sort of thing. We have kind of a peer-to-peer conversation. And then where we want you to be at the end of these experiences, and this is what we've seen work so beautifully with this model, is that by the end of that, you are actually doing 80% of the work, including much of the vision, coming up with the ideas about what should happen next. You're truly leading, and our 20% becomes just polishing and professionalizing with the additional experience and life knowledge and professional experience that we have. That because most of us have, I mean, let's be honest, I have probably 3 decades on most of you, right? So there's some like learning that happened during those 30 or so years. And I would love to be able to sort of contribute something to our project at the end. So that's the 80-20 model. And that's how we do our work. So I talked about with the pay that you can set goals. Well, we already have some goals associated with the whole center. And I don't just mean goals, I mean outcomes, because that's our love language here, right? Outcomes. We have center-wide outcomes. Every program has its own unique outcomes related to the tasks that it is carrying out. So if you're on the events team, you're going to get all kinds of different experiences than if you're on the Ballard Brief team or if you're on the data team, right? Those are going to look really different. So each of those teams has its own outcomes for you that everyone on the team should be improving, right? If you're on the data team, everyone on the team should be improving their data analysis skills, right? Because we're throwing challenging tasks at you and giving you professional opportunities. The last one is position. Each team has different roles. You've got team leads, and you may have other people playing different roles on that team. Those roles are also often associated with different outcomes. So I'm going to just go through some of these so that you have a sense of what that looks like. The most detailed that I can share with all of you, because this is all hands, is center outcomes. So these apply to all of us because this is what our center does. So we develop the faith and skills to solve social problems. You guys did great. Okay, so we have outcomes around faith because we develop the faith to solve social problems. The 3 Ballard Center wide outcomes around that are: number 1, having a testimony of Jesus Christ as Savior, Redeemer of the world, and as our social impact exemplar. 2, experience the power of covenants to accelerate social impact work. And 3, this is my favorite one on here, witness miracles in the work of reducing human suffering and increasing human flourishing. So those are our 3 faith-based outcomes. Faith and skills. So our 3 skills-based outcomes are: use the social impact cycle to solve social problems. You hear how important that is? That's why we're incentivizing do good better, right? Apply social impact skills and tools to solve social problems. This is application. And then 3rd, achieve necessary paradigm shifts toward highly effective social impact principles and practices. So we're in the process right now. We already have a sense from having developed this. Todd Manwaring, my predecessor, helped develop over 20 years, these ways that people would come in with one way of thinking. And his goal in Do Good Better and with the Ballard Center was to shift their thinking to something really different. Think about love the problem, not the solution. That's a paradigm shift. Right? So we're in the process, and Brooke's here, she's been heading up that effort, identifying what are those actual paradigm shifts where people usually, if they're doing social impact, they're doing it one way, but the Ballard Center way is different because we're rooted in the gospel of Jesus Christ and just the best possible practices that we can find globally. And so those paradigm shifts are going to be things that you hear more about and see more about because we'll be measuring. That'll be a big part of our outcome measurement. We develop the faith and skills to solve social problems. So we actually care about the social problems part, but we have to right size this because we're an educational institution. So we need to really think carefully about what that means for us. So the 3 center-wide outcomes for that are: Ballard Center models and tools are effective at solving social problems. So are we using tools and models that actually work? That's a big part of the labs. Francis over there sort of hiding in the corner. He's the director over the Ballard Labs. The Ballard Labs, one of their 3 main purposes is to actually test our models and help us refine them. And if our students are getting stuck in trying to solve social problems, then that means our models aren't working. We need to refine them. So we're actively working on that. Students and other practitioners are more effective at solving social problems because of their engagement with us, and social problem solving organizations improve their impact because of engagement with the Ballard Center. So that's a lot of our partnerships team, our conferences, and SIP programs kind of fit in there. So you'll see, some of this kind of filters out. You can see that we've got specific things we're doing on all of that. So that applies to all of us. And I hope it lights you up a little bit. I hope that's our mission and that's what we mean by it. And so I hope that's exciting for you. It is exciting for me and I love coming to work every day. Your program is also going to be a place where you're now using your unique skills and talents, including the things that you're learning elsewhere on campus, with that social impact lens. So program outcomes are actually determined by your teams through the Ballard Way. And if you haven't already heard a lot about the Ballard Way, you're going to continue to hear more about the Ballard Way. But one of the things that we do is that every team should have a team overview document that actually outlines the core goal, the skill goal, and the faith goal associated with being on that team. And I don't know why we're getting this bad boy, because we have a premium account. That's super fun. Canva, I don't know. It's fine. But you can look for those goals on your team. This is one of the first places I would look for goals, performance goals that you can set with your mentor to help you improve. So these skill goals and faith goals should be student specific, right? They're for your team. But you should be progressing according to those goals that are identified by your program for you. And you can and should, as a team, take a look at those. Make sure they are what they need to be. Those are living documents. It's not set in stone. You can actually adjust those with the help of your mentor and your leads. And then each role, every position at the Ballard Center has kind of its own unique flavor. Those differ by team. So the team overview also identifies specific roles within the team. Those should also be attached to outcomes. That's another place to look for your goals that you're going to set, your performance goals that you're going to set with your mentor. These are your best guides. So what I told the directors this morning was that if your team doesn't have an updated team overview for the Ballard Way, that the mentor should suggest that that's actually your first performance goal as a team, and that your pay will actually be associated with you updating that document so that in the future, your performance raise bumps will be connected to the information that's connected to your teams in the Ballard. This is how we together operate as one, even though there are lots of different teams and programs and people and majors and comings and goings. This is how we remain connected to each other and to our mission. And so we're going to use that. It's also just an example of like what we teach, right? We teach outcome evaluation, measurement, backward mapping. Like these are the skills and tools that we teach as a whole center. And we absolutely are going to use them and do use them as we manage the center itself. So I think this is my last slide, but I want you to have a sense of like overall, what are we about? So we develop the faith and skills to solve social problems, but there are 5 different kinds of activities that we tend to engage in. So you should be able to find either yourself or your role or your team somewhere in these 5 activities. Some of you will be more focused on one than the others. That's okay. So the first one is study. So we run a minor, we teach do good better, we develop tools and models, we learn, right? All of that is part of that study. Faith, you are going to hear us talk about faith. We have a temple trip coming up. But faith isn't just some outside thing that we're hoping because we're individual disciples and we're working on our faith separately, that will somehow help us here. It does. And it can be passive like that, but we are active. We are thinking about discipleship. We're thinking about the gospel. We're thinking about the doctrines. And we're trying to understand what that tells us about how we should do this work differently. So this is a very applied thing for us. Mentorship, talked a lot about that. You've got directors, you've got team leads, you've got transformative mentors. We all have office hours. Mine are Thursdays, 12:45 to 1:45. I do my very best to be in my office during that hour so that you can stop by anytime and just, right, pick my brain, as they say. But that mentorship is real. We have an 80-20 model that we seek to apply when we do that. That means something to us, and we do it in everything we do. Building community is the 4th one. So you'll see us building community online. We have a Do Good Better. We have all hands. We have bonding budgets for you to do bonding with your team. And I want to just say one quick thing about that. Your bonding budget should not be spent on a meeting where you're doing Ballard Center business. Okay, you get an hour of time. So you have to clock in and clock out after an hour. If you're going to hang out for longer than an hour, we only pay for an hour. And we give you a budget that's based on the size of your team. So you can get some food, you can go do something fun, you could go to a movie, whatever, but you are not to be working on stuff during that time. Is that Piri laughing right now? Is that what I'm thinking? Yeah. They got chided yesterday. I was like, is that food for a meeting? They're like, yeah, it's our bonding budget. I'm like, having a meeting is not bonding. So
we're learning.
So we're serious about this community component, and this is actually based on best practice research in organizational behavior. That it's important for you to connect as human beings if you're going to work together well. So we incentivize that because that's what best practice looks like. And you'll see lots of other things that we do to help create a Ballard Center community, including all hands. YAR. Okay. And then the last one is learning. And we talked about study as the first one, but this we actually mean organizational learning. So we engage in organizational learning. We have a continuous improvement team and a good measure team, both of which look at the center and ways that we can improve. So we believe in organizational learning, we teach it, we also do it. Those are the 5 core activities that we engage in. That, for those of you who are new, that's what the Ballard Center is about. For those of you who are not new, I hope that this is a good refresher, but also a motivator to help you remember what we're all doing here together. Sometimes it can be easy to get lost in the weeds, right? The emails you're sending or the documents you're editing or the work that you're doing or the frustrations that you run into. And what I'd like us to do is to keep our sights focused on the goal. We develop the faith, skills to solve social problems. Together, we're going to do a lot of that work here, but also as a larger community, you're going to do a lot of that work out in the world. And we can't wait to hear about what you do. I also just want to give a quick shout out of gratitude because this is the president's annual report for BYU 24-25. And I want you to understand that not only are these our goals and visions, but the cover story here is Becoming BYU, Strengthen the Student Experience. And so what they were looking for in this was examples from across campus that really exemplify the vision of becoming BYU that we heard President Reese talk about in Tuesday's devotional, right? And one of the things that they chose to highlight was Do Good Better with our own Audrey Godfrey. Just about us. This is also about us fulfilling sort of this prophetic vision of BYU and hoping to elevate not only you and the work we do here, but also the social impact work of campus for the benefit of the world. So this is a big work and you're an important part of it. You're the center of it. And we're so grateful that you're here. Thanks, guys. That's the social impact cycle. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Can we have another round of applause for Ava? That was And if you guys haven't gotten the chance to really get to know her, she's an incredible person and she probably gets lots of rounds of applause, but I'm not sure she's ever gotten 2 in 1 all hands meeting. So we're gonna give her another. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm sure you all are somewhat familiar with the swag options that we do offer at the Ballard Center. If you ever have more questions, our welcome desk team and the office are all pros, but we wanted to announce that this cute little logo finally made its debut, and not only stickers, but also a grocery bag tote that can like open up into a box. It's really cool. Come and check it out at the welcome desk. But yeah.
All right. Play some Kahoot.
Ballard Way Kahoot.
Everyone still loves Kahoot, right? That? Okay. I brought some prizes. So I need you to say oohs and ahs once I pull it out. These are all the different sodas I had in my fridge. I have some New Year's resolutions, so they are all 0 sugar. But first place gets 3 sodas that they're choosing. Gonna dry Mountain Dew Baja Blast, regular Dr. Pepper cream soda. You got a Fresca, lime mullet. NW root beer. First place gets 3 sodas. Second place gets 2 sodas. Third place gets 1 soda, but you all 3 get a popcorn to pop during the break. So you're gonna want to win this Kahoot. That's basically the moral of the story. Some of the questions are hard, some are easy, some are trying to trick you. So yeah, I hope you all, and it's based on the Ballard Way. So hopefully you've studied the Ballard Way front and back. Yeah.
Bring that document. Do it quick. Yeah.
No, this is our predatory lending program.
Long shot.
Get that QR code and type in the 6-digit code. There's 17 questions. You only have 20 seconds to answer. Speed is also a factor.
That doesn't ring a bell. Yeah, no, it's like. Yeah, no, I love.
Wait, let me teach you a little bit. I think I wanna. I feel like I give off.
Reach. Okay, if you're in, you're in.
Well, they start. Then it was like. Sorry, I'm not sure about the
Just go off with it.
Play in teams, if your neighbor can get in.
Yeah, play on teams if you were able to join. Oh, what?
Oh.
Seriously. Do I have to click next?
Plays. 17 points.
Oh, yeah, so nobody.
Hey, Megan. Shut your bed.
Go.
Hello.
This law. Exit stage left.
I'm watching the results.
You're. Yeah.
Next.
Thank goodness.
Very to me.
R.I.P. TikTok.
Stability.
Whoa.
Right, okay. Kind of hard. I bumped some people.
No, it's just. Even read what the.
Oh, here's the question.
What'd you do? You're silly.
This might be blocked, so make sure to read it. How to get rid of that.
I don't know. Hey.
He does it, it's a.
Yeah, that's. He's also important.
Which is third. Probably. It could be. Wow.
Oh, I totally got this wrong. They're harder than I.
That's good. It's. Emphasize the same piece.
So hard.
It's. 11 points behind wall.
Okay, it's okay. Generous.
I love it. Stalin. That's what we do around here.
Looking at the picture.
Oh, good. That was a clean sweep.
Longer than I thought it would.
Anti-leader. Oh, Reagan.
Oh. This should be pretty cool.
Must have missed that.
Brand new. Classic. We'll put those back. Every time we pull.
Like, okay. Singing in the house. What are your ways you like to learn and ways you don't like?
Almost went through. I think it's a goal.
I know.
I last second swim.
Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. 12 votes. Oh man, they're so far behind, just having fun.
It gets sent it all the way.
It's like-
There you are. The fear should. The old.
Yeah.
I'm on the ball.
Competition.
Well, tell me I'm on the. It's gonna be all other than rumors and gossip.
Specifically on the Ballard Way document.
I definitely did the wrong one. That's definitely.
Oh, yeah. Really confusing.
He had actually kind of read it, like.
I went into it.
Oh, I want to.
Let's write that song.
We have a song.
Thanks.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I I'm like, I didn't even mean to click. I literally. I was barely too high. I'm off the pony. So far. It's different. Well, I've given up.
Good job. It's one.
All it was.
I think.
Crazy.
I think I can always, I like.
All right.
That one is.
Hey, Reagan. It's Reagan. Your sodas of your choosing and popcorn.
Let's go, congrats.
Right, Kelly, it's good.
Yeah, Kelly, you go first.
Perfect. Cruising, moving right on. I think I like present again and then. Okay, we have a lot of new hires here at the Ballard Center. So if you were hired in the month of December until now, please stand up. Okay, okay. Trick, okay, all of you guys who are here right now and you don't have one of these shirts, Guess what? You're getting a shirt today. If all of you guys could actually come to the office afterwards so we can give you this shirt and help you with the onboarding services so you can get paid more, that would be awesome. If you don't come, you can't give you a shirt and you can't get paid more. So there's the incentive. We're gonna jump right into some other important terms of business. Can anyone guess what we're referring to with this image? This wasn't-
AI generated.
Work of Cheryl is on.
PT that created.
This looks terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, it's feel ears. We just wanted to open up this space to talk about some workday questions that we know everyone is having. To run over a few really quick, we've had a lot of people email us about submitting your time. Is anyone confident in their abilities to try this new workday system and explain how we can submit our time each week? Yeah, let's go.
Oh, okay. You go on your phone,
Yes.
and you unlock it, open the Workday app, and then you click on tracker, and then you click enter time. And you click submit this week, and then you click check.
Often,
Every Friday
every Friday.
after you work your shift on Friday.
Is there an hourly like by 8 p.m. but like is there like a time on Friday or is it just like before midnight?
4 midnight. There we go, people. It's not rocket surgery. Any other questions?
Never seen.
If they're working on Saturday, that goes to their next week's paycheck. So it starts on Saturday, goes through Friday. Yes.
So if we forget and late, then what happens?
As like what we understand right now, as long as it's submitted within the 2-week paycheck, like system, you're good. But we all have those days where like all of a sudden your schedule gets filled up when you forget. And so that's why we're really pushing the like submit every single week. Cause to be honest, like that's probably a problem that we could resolve, but it would take time and contacting and just to smooth it all out, let's make it a weekly submittal. And you can watch out for teams will be reminding about that. So Friday, everyone set that alarm on your phones. If you want to get paid, submit your timesheet. Anything else that you guys want to chat about while we have a minute? If not, you can reach out to Ballard HR. Cheryl is the true Workday expert, and all of your supervisors are overseeing any kind of job position or pay rate as of now. We know it's a new process, but you guys are really handling it well, and it's really exciting and will be very beneficial, especially with our new professional development emphasis. But yeah, okay. Now we're gonna go through some program updates and celebrations. So I'm just gonna kind of fly through these slides so we may get out of here on time. If you're the one that put it in, you've got like 30 seconds for your pitch. Ready? Oh, this is mine. These are the office hours. If that looks good with all the supervisors, this is from fall orientation. So if you've updated them, let us know. But if you want a picture of that, that's like the equivalent of your professor's office hours to come in and talk to directors. Great for networking, great for advice on what my goals should be, and also just a cool time to get to know the people that you're working around.
They're also on the TV in the office, that like the slides that are on the TV, so if you didn't get a picture now, they're always there.
And you don't, it's not just for your director, like you can come visit any director. So, right, if someone works for me, they can go talk to Steven or Jill or Jess during their office hours.
Tyler.
So the careers team, we just updated all of our career resources are now in one centralized location. So if you go to teams, there's a team called Team Careers. And you click on it, there's a tab on there that says career resources, and you can access every resource available to you. These two kind of all be scattered around. You have to ask me where to find them. Now they're all in one spot. They're all available to you. And they're all super cool. All those up there are new things that are on there that you can do or attend or be developed professionally with.
As much as we'd love to employ you post-grad, there's stuff out there.
Okay. We have a new team at the Ballard Center called Period Business for Good. If you are a part of this team, will you stand up?
Hey, Peter.
Thank you guys. If you can hit the next slide.
Sure.
We do business better. So that's our mission, and that's all I'll say about it. If you have any questions about who we are, what we do, come talk to me or any of the people that stood up, but we're really, really excited to be a formalized team now. So thanks.
Super clear, but.
Slide moved, okay, you be together, but, so also on that channel, next to the career resources of the tab that says transformative mentors. These are our 5 transformative mentors that we have hired to mentor you in, like we're talking about kind of those professional development things. You talk to them about your resume, you talk to them about your fears for the future, talking about how do you be a good disciple, you talk to them, how do you get your hair that cool, anything you want to talk to them about. They are here. And so if you go there, there's a link to schedule a meeting with them. We are still finalizing their schedules and things. So right now you can only schedule with Melissa as of next week, but soon you'll be able to schedule with all 5 of these awesome. And they have little bios and stuff on that website too. So they are why you want to talk to them. Oh, yeah. And sorry, more stuff.
Okay.
Professional development time. There is a business competition at Duke. We've had a Ballard Center winner come every year for the past 2 years. The application deadline is Tuesday. You submit a 2-page paper about how you think either business principles or a specific business can solve a social problem. If you're one of the top 10 finalists, they will fly you out for free to Duke. You get to present. They'll pay you a scholarship to go to their MBA program afterwards if you want. All super cool stuff. So probably looking at you, Perry, but everyone's super interested. I can connect you to the winners of last 2 years if you're interested in more info. Let's do Tuesday. So.
Sick.
And the code.
Scan it. Back.
This wasn't mine, but I looked at it because I was curious. I think this is for something that like we're working on with some of the models we use. It's just a little QR code to like, it's a survey about how you think faith can like play into your personal impact work when you've done. But yeah, this isn't mine, but I just looked at it. So that's what it is.
It's okay. Welcome desk.
Say super quick, we just want the welcome desk to be the most efficient that it can be and the best advocate for your program. So if you have any event going on, anything that students might come in to ask questions about, please make a post on the welcome desk channel with the information, the dates of whatever's going on. So that way all of the welcome can help out and tell people about it.
Okay, add on to that, Reagan. So the welcome desk will take your graphic or information about an event or your class or your program or whatever you're hiring and move that into a slide deck that we are working on getting all of TAs showing, rotating through before class. That's the best way to be getting the word out broadly about information that you've got going on is to get it to the front desk.
Well detailed, please.
Yeah, this one is mine very quick. Remember to sign up for the temple trip next Wednesday. RSVP here with us. If you can't get a temple appointment, we have a few slots available. So reach out to me or to your team lead and we can get you and in with one of the sessions or something. So please come. You don't have to go to the temple to go to the dinner as well, but we encourage you to go.
Yay, go Temple. Okay, more info. Can we drop this in the chat after? Like,
Yes.
okay, awesome. What? Okay, everyone's gonna want to scan this one really quick. Ready?
Yeah, we'll also send it in the
10.
chat. There's 4 different dates throughout the semester and they're at different times and days, so hopefully one of them works with your schedule.
Yes.
Headshots.
So awesome. These are awesome for you. This is a free service at the Ballard Center. These are professional headshots that you can use everywhere. Also, it's really useful for us when we're putting decks together to tell other people about you. If we have a photo of you or your team photo professionally done, that's useful for us.
Last call for that one. Coming back, event signups. Perfect. Yes, we have some fun events coming up this semester and we always need more help. This past week, we introduced over 200 freshmen to what the Ballard Center is all about. We couldn't have pulled it off without your help. So anyways, sign up and yeah, there's kind of calendar. Okay, it's got the Temple trip, Ballard Brief Summit. Whoa. Career fair. It's just like an outlook for the next few months. And you can find all of these in the collab corner on Teams, right? Yes. Newbies, if you don't have access to Teams, come get the shirt.
Really quick announcement.
Sure about
We're
Fury.
having a Peary event tonight with an awesome guest speaker at 7 PM in the conference room, open to anyone, so come if you want to, and yeah, we'll send more in the chat as well, but.
Awesome. I think that might be everything. Okay, thanks, guys. Go do good and business better.